Welcome. You are listening to the Be a Better Being podcast, hosted by Michelle Zellner and Sasha Berscheid. Michelle and Sasha are here to give you information and inspiration to help you live your healthiest, happiest lives. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
Greetings, Better Beings. Welcome back to the Be a Better Being podcast. My beautiful co-host Sasha and I are here today together. Always lovely to see your smiling face, darling.
I know, right? I love this. Is my favorite time of the week or day or whatever it is. So thankful for this and this opportunity to be with you.
Well, it's my favorite time as well. I think we get to connect in so many different ways. And what I'm excited to dive into today is your story about Project Intentional. We have sort of dipped the toe. You've mentioned it very, very fleetingly on other episodes. And I know people have asked me, what is this Project Intentional thing all about? So we've gotten so caught up in the excitement of our topics and our conversations that we just completely forgot to talk about that one. So that's what today is all about. And I am just going to let you take it away. Tell us what it is, why it is, how it came to be. I'll probably interject with some questions here and there, but mostly this is all you.
I love that. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I do think it's fascinating / I love the fact that we've waited 2 months to talk about this. One of the things that I always want to make sure of is that you and I stay humble, right? And so if we're always putting other people first, I think that that's obviously our goal and our key, right? To find other better beings and to help other people realize they're not alone. But then there's always sometimes that moment where you're like, okay, I'm ready to express all of the work that I've also been doing in the background, and this is what it is and why it's here. And it's important for me. I know you've pushed me to talk about the things that I do because I don't like quote unquote bragging, and I don't consider this a brag, but to talk about my personal ventures, I guess is what I should say.
Yeah. Well, and I think you and I are similar in that. I have a hard time as well, which is why it is so nice to have a cheerleader in your corner on your team. And you, my dear, are not just a cheerleader. You look the entire squad.
Oh, girl, I am louder than the squad. And yes, I am your biggest fan. And I think it's just so fun to have like this sister camaraderie. There's no competition, just check out what my girl is doing and vice versa. And it is like the best way of describing it, and I'm just like full of energy just thinking about it, is like tickling. Like I just tickle, like I'm just look at her go and look at me go, and it's fun. So, but yes, back to the humility. Let me give you the full scope. You guys, you're going to get tired of my voice. I promise. I get tired of my voice when it comes to this story, but this is the story that probably is the most passionate one that I own in my cookie jar. In December of 2019, you would have found me upstairs, a mess, a ball, emotional, exhausted, hormonal, a mother to a 3-month-old son, and mothering a 18-month-old daughter who things were not clicking the way they should have been clicking. Now I understand every child is different. I've had friends say popcorn kernels all pop at different times, and while those are all fantastic sayings, there are milestones that each parent feel like they need to see in order to move on to the next stage of life. And I wasn't getting those. I wasn't getting smiles. I wasn't getting a daughter who would respond to me calling her name. There was no animation. She had a lot of blank stares. And on top of that, it was very difficult for me to be her advocate because I had people saying, oh, she's just a preemie. She's just a preemie. And so in this moment, I am a hot mess express. This is before Sasha's 7 days started. This is before all of, I want to say, my true inner work really started. The sobriety helped me big time. But in this moment, December of 2019, Andrew said, Sasha, what do you want for Christmas? So in our family, we celebrate Christmas. And I looked at him and I just had a breakdown and I said, I don't get it. I don't understand how these single mothers do it. I don't understand how these people are doing this. This is before COVID. This is before the world went the way it is now. And I just found myself humbled, beyond humbled, because anytime that I had a meltdown, anytime that I needed to take a nap, anytime that I needed to cry, anytime I needed my me time, I could call someone. I could reach out to my nanny. I could call my sister. I could call my mom. I could call my friends. I could call my husband. And there was someone there for me. And then additionally, girl, I didn't have a single need or want on a Christmas list. What a luxury. What a luxury. So I took a step back and I said, Andrew, I would love to adopt a mom. I went to social media. At the time, there was a group called Mama Love. It was primarily all Nebraska residents. And I posted on there and I said, hey, for Christmas this year, I've decided I want to give back. I would love to adopt a single mom. Let me know what it is that you need. I want to pick someone randomly and I just want to love on you. Huh. What happened next? I would never have imagined it. Literally, this post, this whole sentiment of not necessarily feeling sorry for myself, but feeling sorry for myself, yet finding a way to feel, and I don't want to say sorry for, people in a different situation than myself. It was more of feeling alone and feeling alone for others, I took to social media. I had 80,
Yeah.
tell me.
I just want to jump in there for a moment because I think, it is when we are struggling in whatever way that it's so easy to turn it all about us, right? That's normal. That is called human nature survival. And we're going to probably explore this in another episode, but there is something in you that decided to not do that. And that takes kind of an extraordinary commitment, an extraordinary way to separate yourself and your situation to want to help and have empathy and compassion for maybe somebody's situation who is perhaps not as challenging as yours, but challenging in a different way. And so, that I think is something that is probably part of your nature, but it seems like this one experience or this pivotal moment in time, it just all came down on you in a way that made you want to get out of your own box and open up and step out to help somebody else. Because if people haven't realized that yet, when we are hurting, if we can help somebody else, it actually helps our healing as well.
Absolutely. That is so on point. One of the things, and you guys will hear me say this over and over and over again, that I learned through AA, thankfully, and I took a page out of that book and I implement it daily, is at the root of human foundation, besides, shelter, food, all those needs that we have. I personally believe in, obviously it's also in the AA handbook, that servitude and community are at the core of our foundation of who we are. And this was a very pivotal moment in my life. I also believe that in that moment, it allowed people to look at me in a different light, like she doesn't have it all. You know what I mean? Because the life, or the life that I expected to have, is not the life that I'm living, and it's not the life. It's been humbling, to say the least. And would I change it? I don't think I would. Like, that's what's so crazy, is I find myself asking myself, what would you do to help Cayenne or change her diagnosis? Or that's so hard. It's something that I'm going through with my therapist right now. I don't think I would. That little girl has changed me and changed Omaha by the better. And she has no idea. She's not even aware of the changes that she has implemented in my life and the lives around, I want to say thousands, right? Literally thousands of people.
Yeah. We are definitely going to go deep into Cayenne's story on a whole other episode, because that in itself is many, many, many stories to be told on that. So circling back to the Facebook post, 80 people,
80 women. And here's the thing, right? It'd be one thing if they were like, oh my gosh, my daughter would love a Barbie and a Barbie car, and my son would love Paw Patrol and Legos. And no, these women were asking for socks and underwear. They were asking for wipes and diapers. They were asking for toilet paper. And I'm here going, come on. I'm saying Christmas or holiday gift. That's when I realized something has to be done. There has to be change. There has to be something. And I have to do whatever it takes to get all 80 of these women adopted. So I did just that. I pulled from the group. I also pulled from my network, and I was able to get all 80 of those women adopted. But then what happens next is January rolls around, and I have that same thought. Like, what happened to all those women that I just helped? Like, what happens next? Like, I'm still living in this very privileged life, for the lack of better words. You know, I have my husband who supports and provides and protects us, and I have my children who know nothing other than me. I have a stable job. I have a beautiful community and support system and family. But what about these women that I just helped? Like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm missing a mark. There has to be something that comes from this. And my sister in that moment, my sister's a brainiac. I'm pretty sure we've talked about her before. We have to have her on here, but she said, well, Sasha, if you are willing to do the work, if you are willing to put your feet on this pavement and run like you've never ran before, I will do the paperwork. I will do all the legal things to create this into a 501c3 nonprofit. What do you want to call it? I was like, easy. This word was given to me in 2014 when I got sober. The word was intentional. Intentional. And that has been my life word ever since then. And I said, Project Intentional, Sammy. 45 minutes later, boom, registered, and paperwork was sent off. February of 2020, mind you, this is 1 month before COVID really ramped up. We were a 501c3 nonprofit here's my little spiel. I collect items all year round and in turn offer them to mothers in need in the Omaha metro area. Our goal is to make it so that no mama or kiddo goes a holiday season without receiving a gift, making the season brighter and the load lighter.
That is a beautiful summary, and clearly you have told that story before, and I hope people are hearing that message. We're going to continue to share it and tell it, but it is so much more than that now. So kind of go through the journey. You just filed, you just created the 501c3, and COVID shows up.
Oh my gosh, and COVID shows up. And so we were supposed to do our first year at the WCA, which is the Women's Center of Advancement here in Omaha. Beautiful building. It is a nonprofit by women, for women, very much so like us, where it's all about empowering women and just meeting them where they are and giving them tools, tricks, resources, and educating them to help and invest in their future. So they give me a call or email in July, and they say, hey, Sash, it's not looking like you're going to have your event here. We're not even allowing staff to come into the building, let alone however many of these strangers that you want. So I said, I'm not going to let whatever deter me, not even COVID. I mean, we didn't know what COVID was going to turn out to be like. I just knew I need to get creative. So I decided that year one, what we would do is we would open up the website to adoption. So you could apply to be adopted. And the beautiful thing about this is that I didn't turn anyone away. So even if a man applied and, of course, everyone justifies why they need to be loved. Most of the time in humanity, right, we don't just accept being loved. We have to explain ourselves why we should receive love or why we're worthy of something, instead of realizing you are enough and I can love you right where you are and I can meet you where you are and I can just validate your being. So year number one, a big helper is Lockbox Storage in Waterloo, Nebraska. They donate 2 10 by 30s to our nonprofit, and we filled the bays, and it was really amazing. I created this community on Facebook. It's called Project Intentional Omaha Squad. And what they did is I had 38 families apply. I had an Excel spreadsheet, and at the bottom was 38 different tabs with the 38 different families. You had the names of the children, the ages, the sizes that they wear, the items that they like to play with. And then it was up to the squad essentially to claim a family. And then you met me at the storage unit with your family, because for me, I can't remember all 38 people, right? Or 38 families, but I can delegate. And I can say, Michelle, you're responsible for family number 4. Tell me a little bit about family number 4. So at this time, the storage units were all organized, and they came and they pulled for their families. Then that person, again, we'll use you as an example. You had family number 4. You went home, you wrapped all those items for family number 4, and then you were responsible for syncing up with family number 4 to drop off the gifts contact free, and providing those families a holiday season that they probably would not have been able to afford or have otherwise.
I can't even imagine the overwhelming amount of time, energy, and effort that took. And, to get creative because of the circumstances around COVID, a lot of people would just say, oh, I guess we can't do it this year. And clearly that was not an option for you, and that you had all these people who wanted to also support you in this effort, right? Those squad members. I mean, it's a pretty remarkable thing. And when you cultivate community, be, I think, amazed and inspired by how people do want to help. Not everybody has the time or ability or desire to create a nonprofit. And you don't have to do that to be a helpful human, but you can give in some way, and showing up in some way that will help serve, I think, is a message I want to make sure everybody understands. Because I think, sometimes we feel like, well, I can't do that big thing, so I can't do anything.
Exactly. So that's one thing that I'm coaching a gal right now named Carly. And it goes back, we had this exact same conversation with Parker, right? We're not asking you to go out and create a cereal line. I'm not asking Carly to go out and find a nonprofit. But right now what we're working on with her is finding her you, like finding her inner you, her inner her. And so I said to her, I don't need you to be a part of my nonprofit. I'm not asking you to be passionate about something that I'm passionate about. I'm asking you to find something that you are passionate about, because show me a person and what they're doing on their spare time, and I will show you that person's future, right? And I've said that before as well. And so if you plug yourself into a community, into a nonprofit, into a way that you can take yourself out of yourself and start serving others, you're going to become more confident. You're going to find a purpose, and that's going to spark something in you that you may have been lacking for a very long time. And so you're giving people energy and resources and time and your talent that they don't have themselves. And that might even just be confidence. That might just be a smile or a kind gesture at the grocery store, whatever that looks like. But that's a ripple effect. You are lighting something within you, and in turn, you are lighting something within them.
Yeah, and that's the whole spark, right? It's a spark that then creates something bigger and better. So fast forward now, we went through 2020 and now we're into 2021, and certainly COVID is done, right? I mean,
yeah,
so
certainly.
tell us what happened with Project Intentional after that first year. Kind of had to shift gears, not do it exactly the way you had envisioned, and now we're into 2021. What's the plan for this coming year?
Yeah, 2021, after the 38 families, it was just this huge burst of, oh my gosh, I had no idea that so many people were struggling. Oh my gosh, what else can I do? How else can I donate my time? And so we started creating events. I sat down with Becca Starks in April, so about a year ago, and I sat down with her and I said, I can't do everything on my own. And I know that this project has the potential to be something so big. And I know this has the potential to go nationally. And at this time, I wanted to go nationally with the nonprofit. And I said, but I need help. Like, you're really good at things that I'm not really good at, and vice versa. And so it was funny when I showed up that day, we met for coffee at Zen Coffee, which is one of my favorite local coffee places. Jordan Grady was sitting there. She was just finishing up a meeting with someone else. And in my head that morning, I had thought to myself, shoot, I should probably ask Jordan to be in this meeting, but that'll come. The time will come. I'll introduce Jordan Grady at a later date. Nope. Universe said, I don't think so, sis. You're joining. You're having Jordan Grady join you that day. So that day, the three of us sat and we met and we decided that we were going to start planning out other events to give back to the community and more than just the holiday season. So the next event that we did was backpacks. We filled backpacks up, and then after that we did what is called Brand Her, which was an event where Sierra donated her time, and we took a whole bunch of new business owners or entrepreneurs, took photos of them, and they could use that for their social media content. After that was New and Expecting Mamas. We partnered with Idol Vital, which is a female black owned business in North Omaha. Now, Omaha is a very segregated city, unfortunately. But for me, that's my people live in North Omaha and my people live in South Omaha. Now, what is so beautiful with the gift that I have been given is that I am able to bridge that gap between West Omaha and then take the resources that are given in West Omaha and then apply them to my people in North and South Omaha. And so we did the New and Expecting event, or New and Expecting Mamas event, which is what you are hosting or sponsoring this next year. And it's just, it's going to be so amazing, but it's just new and expecting moms who just need to be loved. And it was a health fair. We had over 13 different nonprofits there, either, lactation consultants or giving away free diapers and formula. I mean, it was the whole shebang. There's a beautiful attorney, Samantha. She was giving out free Power of Wills. So that's a $2,000 product at this event. She had a notary there and she was just handing them out left and right so that these mothers who could not afford otherwise would have something in place for their children in the event that something tragic happened to them. We really just took this nonprofit last year and we put it like on a billboard, basically. Not truly, but metaphorically speaking. We won a scholarship through the 100 Women Who Care of Omaha. We were gifted $6,500, and that's really what catapulted this whole thing, was not only having the belief from like myself and Jordan and Becca and all these other women who have donated their time and things, but having funding to back it. Whew, that's a game changer. When you have money to give away and money to spend on other people, ooh, I am so good at that. And the most beautiful thing about this whole nonprofit, and the thing that I've never bragged about, and the thing that I am ready to brag about, and I take pride in this, is that we've never cut a check to ourselves. So all of the money that we have funded, all of the time that we have donated, we don't pay ourselves for it. So last year we raised $33,000. And starting this next year already, we have $10,000 in the bank. And I am just so ready to see what is in store for us.
Well, that is incredible. And, as you and I have not even known each other a year yet, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary here shortly. But I've been a voyeur and stalking you and watching from afar until we really gelled and became Sasha. And just watching it all blossom and unfold through your social media and through the brief conversations we would have. And I mean, the photos and the videos from the Holiday Emporium that you had in 2021 are, literally unbelievable. So tell the listeners a little bit about the Holiday Emporium. And then I want to also just ask this question now, so you can work it into the answer. When single moms or whoever comes to these events, do you have any kind of ask of them? What do you ask of them? Are they just there to get to receive? Yeah. Or is there something that you are hoping will spark a little bit of something in them in whatever way that might be?
Oh man, I did not think I was going to cry. I guess with this question and my answer, I know I will cry, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, yeah, so the Emporium was something out of this world. I take what I know are my friends are gifted, and I know what I'm not good at, and I delegate. I delegate. Like, I am the chief of delegation because, like, I can't do this alone. So if it was data or analytics, I asked Danny, you're going to run point on creating these forms and this event. If it is power housing through making an empty space look like a magical Winterland Emporium, we're going to delegate the staging. Like, I didn't know that this was even a thing, but there's this thing called staging. When you go into a store, there's different tables and different, I don't know if they called it feathering or nesting or whatever Angie called it, but she was did all of the product layout for a very large corporation, two of them, Target and Nebraska Furniture Mart. And so she was very well versed on it. So she came in and made it look like a store. Julie from Balloon Via came in and made the balloons incredible. Jody from the Party Bar came in and made those incredible backdrops. And it just all started to piece together, and the word spread like wildfire. It's beautiful that Omaha is such a tight-knit community and that they are willing to change and provide hope. So it was just, every single thing was thought out. So from the moment that we posted it on social media, we asked them to fill out a form to let us know about like how many children they were shopping for, the ages, the sizes of the clothing. And then the other thing that Danny did for me was she broke it up into 30-minute intervals. So 40 people could sign up for every 30 minutes, just because these are moms who, I don't know if they have vehicles. It is December. It is freezing. I do not want anyone to get sick. I don't know if they're pregnant. I don't know. I don't want anyone to get pneumonia. I don't want frostbite. I don't want anyone standing outside. So these were all things that I wanted to do differently than what a normal or typical event. It wasn't a first come, first serve. It was, we're going to be sprinkling in brand new donations in the store with old donations. So when you checked in, if you had your child, which is totally fine, it was not a prerequisite. We just understand that some women don't have childcare. So Megan, she was in charge of childcare. Now in the childcare, they had books. Every child went home with a book or two. Megan had arts and crafts in that childcare room, and we had maybe 10 to 14 different volunteers sit in there with ages ranging from brand newborn to, I think the max was 14. And every card or craft that they made was actually then forwarded on to a senior citizen home, so that every single thing was thought about, so that every single senior citizen that we could impact could be impacted. Then the next room down was a room that we had set up. It was a little differently, but this room over here was filled with a charcuterie board for the moms, milk and cookies. And then Jenna had from I'm going to butcher it. Anyways, Jenna had this really beautiful Christmas backdrop where you could go and take pictures with your family in the event that you couldn't afford to do that otherwise. So it was kind of like a JCPenney's backdrop, but more beautiful. And then in that same room, because it was a little bit more private, we had women there to talk to about if you needed to go to a Safeway house or a safe home, if you needed resources for domestic violence. So that was like the cozy room. Across the hallway to the other side was your professional resources. So I had Sam, that incredible attorney, again, she was there doing Power of Wills. We had financial advisors, insurance agents. We had LinkedIn coaches. So my place of employment came in and they taught people the importance of a profile. We had a photographer there to do headshots. And we had another career or like a staffing agency in the event that you wanted to get help that day to find a job. She would be able to get your information and get you hooked up. So that was one room. Now the other room was filled with a bunch of other nonprofits. So in total, there were 26 vendors. So those nonprofits were from Fit Girl, who, Michelle, you'll love her. I can't wait to introduce you to her. But she it gives the opportunity to young girls here in Omaha to be active and have different programming here in Omaha they can't afford otherwise. And so here was this idea is, I can collect all of these resources and I can give away millions and millions of dollars. But if I'm not educating and I'm not empowering, then I'm doing a disservice to these women. And not only these women, but to my community, to my city. Because if they don't have some skin in the game, then what sets me apart? really nothing, you know? And I'm not dogging or speaking down on any of those other programs. I just knew that mine had to have a little more flavor, had to have a little more Sasha in it. And so the premise is you walk through all of the booths, and then in order to go shopping in the holiday store, you obtained tickets from all those booths. So at the end of your journey, you were educated, you had resources, and you were empowered because people were telling you, I love you, I love you, I love you, you're amazing, thank you for being here, we want you to be here, we have these resources for you. And then your very final shop is in a foyer, and there I am, standing at the door. And I would wait until about 15 to 20 women would get into a bunch. And I sat there and I told each and every single one of them that I loved them and that I did all this work because of them and that they matter and that there is a reason that they're here today and that I just love them. And I literally lost my voice because I said to over 500 people, I love you. I love you. I looked every person in the eye that came through those doors and gave them a hug and told them, I love you. Now, I think all of that is wonderful, but my favorite part of the whole thing was this. After I told everyone that I loved them, I went through the ticketing system with them. There were 3 different types of colors. One was for clothing, one was for toys, and then the other ticket was for other items. Now, what these people didn't know, what these mothers didn't know, was that once you went around, it didn't matter how many tickets you had, because in the middle of the room, there was a bucket. And in that bucket, there were hundreds of tickets. And I said to each, as I did the group, I said, here's the thing. I want to plant a seed in your mind today, and I want to plant a seed in your heart. And this seed is the seed of abundance. There is more than enough for us all to be successful. There is more than enough inventory for all of you to have a happy and healthy holiday. With that being said, take what you need. No questions asked. You cannot steal from me. It's impossible. Leave what you don't. Take what you need. Leave what you don't. 26 tickets were what was allotted per person. The average person spent 11 tickets. I had to refill that bucket, empty that bucket over and over and over again. Because of the abundance mentality, we were able to help 485 mothers have a generous, prosperous, and beautiful holiday season.
That is amazing. It's amazing. And it just happened. I mean, we're talking, December 2021. Wow. I mean, what I would love, and I'm sure you already have this in your mind, is to get follow-up from these women. How has that one experience changed their lives? What have they done to better themselves, to better their situation, to maybe empower somebody else that they know, to spread this message of abundance, to really, take all the gifts and the things that you have offered them and utilize them to expand in a lot of different ways. I think it would be fascinating to follow up. And I don't know, maybe someday we have a panel of those women on this podcast talking about how that one event really did, be the catalyst for a significant change in their lives.
Yeah, I'm going to admit, as far as follow-up goes, I'm really terrible at it. Jordan is as well. So we're both on the same page with that. And it's funny because there was no branding at all at this event. So no one knew that it was Project Intentional's event, which is hilarious. But at the end of the day, Abide, which is where we have just announced our partnership today, that we are forever going to be partnering with them because we love them, they love us, and it's very perfect for what we're doing in our mission and their mission as well. At the end of the day, I do need to follow up with these women, but I don't care what kind of impact it was that I had on them, as long as they realize that all the glory goes to God. all of this hard work, all of these things that I'm doing now is because God gave me the ability to. He gave me the energy to do it. He gave me this really loud voice that I used to be very embarrassed over, how loud and boisterous it is. He gave me this network of people that they're not, I can't claim fame to that. I didn't go around and say, hey, I want you to sit with me. Like, I didn't do that. I do think it will be important to capture that data. That's a good call out. I'll put it on my to-do list. And I know
I'm sure you have somebody in your network that's really, really good at that. A
and that's,
total statistics nerd. I know there's somebody listening who's be like, oh, that's so my
I
jam.
know.
I
So
want it.
if that is your GM and you want to help out with like the newsletters and following up and questionnaires and surveys, things like that, yeah, man, there's a place for you at my table. I have a very warm seat ready for you to jump in because I can't do this alone. And I know, just like you say, Michelle, like you can't do this alone. Like we can't do, and life's not meant to do alone. So we can do this together, and it is truly better together. And if year number 2, again, not bragging, but at the same time, I have never disclosed these numbers before. If year number 2, we could raise $33,000. I am ready to see what's
This
next.
is not bragging. This is called celebrating. And we are celebrating
We're
this.
celebrating. And
We are spreading the message to inspire other people as well. And, Sasha, God gave you so many gifts. And I think your passion is probably the biggest one. Your passion, your grit, your determination, your willingness to step aside to shine light on everyone else. And I think light needs to be shined on you. And I know it's hard for you to get that, but I want to just dump a whole bunch of love on you right now because I tell you what, you have talked about our relationship here as a big sister, little sister mentorship. I want to be a better being because I know you. And I know that is not a unique situation. I watch the posts in the lit group and your Facebook and your Instagram and people I've gotten to know very briefly and at arm's length so far. And it is the same answer every time. And so I am honestly just completely blessed and humbled to have this connection with you, to get to share your story, to get to share you with the world so that your passion maybe triggers a passion in somebody else. Maybe their passion is there. They just don't know how to let it out of the box. And I know this conversation is going to spark that in somebody. So thank you for never being quiet, not ever pipe down, because you need to be loud and proud about these amazing things that you do. And, I also know that I am going to do a better job of celebrating people and showing them off when there's something to show off. And there is so much to show off, and it can get a little overwhelming sometimes, honestly, like, wow, there are so many amazing things happening and I need to celebrate all of them. But it's certainly something that I have my own eye on myself about, and I'm going to thank you for that. So.
Yeah, for those of you watching, I never blush. I literally never blush. And I have never seen myself blush. And so to watch myself blush, I was like, make it stop. Oh,
I know.
That was
well,
cute.
yay me, I get to wear that badge.
Yeah, I'm going to make you a little ribbon that said, I made Sasha blush. That's
I love it. Yes.
That's silliness.
Yes.
Well, yeah, there's just...
that gives such a great foundation for so many other conversations that we're going to have before we officially close out. Any final notes that you want to make sure are out there about this particular project?
Maybe not this particular project, but what I will say is, like, you guys, you were made to do big and bold things. Now, big and bold are defined by you. And these big and bold and beautiful things are meant for you to do and only you to do. Not me, not Michelle, not my husband, not your landlord, but you. Lean into it. yeah, it's uncomfortable, but if you are doing things with the right intent, you will be supported, you will be protected, and you will be blessed. So do it. Do it. I dare you. I dare you. I want to see what happens from this dare.
I love that. What a great way to end up. Thank you, my friend, as always, for just an amazing conversation and so many thoughts that are going to come out of this. And to all the listeners, thank you for listening to us. Hope you got a little bit of inspiration and information from this one that is going to go and help you be a better being.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Being podcast. Michelle and Sasha hope that what you heard today inspires you to embrace this journey of life with an open mind, a kind heart, and a willingness to learn and evolve. If you enjoyed the content, please help spread their message by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. If you have a show topic idea or would like to be a guest, please visit betterbeings.net and fill out a contact form. Until next time, go and be a better being.